Welcome to the Contagion Effect Show. We have a special guest because up in the corner, Mikey's feeling under the weather. Unfortunately, we can't hear Mike, and that really makes me sad. It really makes me sad. It's more difficult, or it's a lot more difficult to talk and not have a schedule and all this good stuff. But welcome. So, co-hosting with me today would be our special guest, Scott Thatcher, all the way from Fort Worth, Texas. Bud, greetings.
Yes, sir.
Oh, don't do that. Don't get a hey. Don't
Hey,
pull a
y'all.
Christmas. Hey, y'all. How you doing?
No,
Which
I
we can't
won't.
make fun of him because he's probably going to be on. He said he was going to watch. I sent him the link.
All right, all right.
So,
I won't make fun of Chris. I
dude,
love
do you have a
Chris.
snuggie on? What the hell are you wearing?
Dude, it is a hoodie
It's a
T-shirt.
3/4 length sleeve, bro.
No,
Wow,
I
she's got
pulled
you
it up.
dressed good. Oh,
I pulled it up. It's like
okay.
it's regular. It has like a little hood on the back.
Okay.
It's like
Right on.
perfect. It's like a perfect shirt type thing to wear when it's like 50, 60 degrees outside.
Yeah. I just made a weird face. You don't
Yeah,
really
you did.
notice yourself whenever you're sitting there like that. So again, Mikey's feeling under the weather. He can't talk, which is absolutely so weird because you walk in and you usually get the down, the pop, security's jumping all over you because they want to check you out before you actually come into the house. And Mike kind of gets on him a little bit and actually communicating because, hey, here's a shocker. By the way, we had technical difficulties before we started. This is the 43rd show of the Contagion Effect. And I believe we've had technical difficulties on at least 40 of them. I would actually bet that we've had some type of mishap. But guess what? We're here. And we are so strong. We are strong. Thatcher, what have you been up to?
Not much. Work. Got married. Now we're trying to move in.
Okay, so hold on. Which that
Yes.
was kind of, I mean, so you moved from California to Texas, and
Yes.
not only did you get some paparazzi off of that, you got some notoriety. Like you were on a couple shows. Tell us
I was
about
on,
it.
I was on a few shows. I was on oh gosh, Fox News and Friends in the morning. I was on that for a few
Legit,
minutes.
yeah, yeah.
Legit was on that.
And you were on the BBC for a minute, weren't you?
Yes, I was in a few articles for the BBC. And so I made my rounds through that. It was fun. The weirdest thing in the world was getting phone calls from New York telling me they're from Fox and Friends, and I'm like, really? I don't know about this. Like, I felt like I was being scammed. Come to
Yeah,
find out, I wasn't. But
yeah.
yeah, that was pretty wild.
So it was the exodus, right? That's basically what all the Californians
Yes,
leaving and going to Texas and
hmm
and
absolutely.
starting over, which you did the ultimate start over, and now
Uh,
we don't have to get into it, but I'm just saying, like now it's things are going awesome, right?
yes, oh,
Boys are
absolutely.
good.
Boys are great.
Yeah, good.
So it's just they've like most kids out here lately, past few weeks, probably past month is fighting colds and with the
Oh.
weather change.
That dude over there all week long, he's like, and like I give him props. He hasn't tried to talk yet, which is kind of funny and weird to watch a guy like
Like,
listen, let's just face it, like he is the IT guy, right? The
right.
computer guy, and all this, and to see him get frustrated with technology, and then to be just like it always works out, right?
Oh, it always works out.
Yeah. How much time we got left there, producer? We need like a time clock. We're rolling with it, right?
We're going,
Um,
baby.
yeah. So, well, first of all, happy Thanksgiving, bud. I'm
Happy
glad things are
Thanksgiving
going
to
good.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I'm glad things are going good for you. I think the last time I got to talk to your woman was on a FaceTime, and there may have been a few beverages consumed.
Hey, you
You
have
know,
a few beverages. I would never expect you to have a few.
I've actually been pretty good. I actually have. I've stopped drinking and driving on the way home. So
That's
that's a good, so that's a good one. That's a good. That was
look,
that
PSA
was just put out
announcement.
there.
Don't drink and
Yeah,
drive.
don't drink
I
and
have
drive. It's
I,
stupid.
Look, very stupid. I have stories that we won't get into
Oh yeah,
now.
yeah. We're not.
About,
Yeah, we're not.
we won't dive into those.
Yeah,
That can be. We can. Yeah.
but those will never be brought up.
Those are
Those will
just
never
those
be
are in
brought
the
up.
basement that I never bring up.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where you know how I'm going to come off on you when you kind of went away for a minute, and I'm like, dude, like don't do that bullshit, and
Yes.
so we've been through a lot, which it's cool, and it's so there's a friendship there. So hey, there's Chris Medina up there in the chat. What's up, Chris Medina? Hey, buddy. He's all excited. He's all excited. Right
What's up,
on.
Chrissy?
All right. Well, you know what, Scott? I really want to get into our guest, which I'm glad you're here. I hope you did a little bit of research. I got a hold of you early enough you had to go do some homework.
I've done a little bit.
But what we're going to do now is another veteran who found his way through music. And oh, by the way, he was shot 10 times by one guy, Scotty Hastings.
Yeah, the times and places, they may change, but one thing stays the same. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they own of the ones who didn't make it home. Yeah, sure do miss them, but they keep them all living in the stories that they tell.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Louisiana.
Bossier City.
Gotta hope it's Louisiana.
Bossier City, Louisiana.
Bossier City, Louisiana. Schaefer Mueller. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Contagion Effect.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Please tell me you're in Louisiana now.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm in Bossier.
Yeah. So welcome again. Mike is, we talked a little bit. Mike's down, but we have one of my friends, Scott Thatcher. He's getting the chance to join us, which he may do a better job of talking. I usually don't talk as much. Mikey, Mikey's the good interviewer. So there's all that. But welcome. I think I've stumbled across you on TikTok and a couple other gentlemen that we've had on, Scotty Hastings and blanking on his name, which I tend to do also. But welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you.
You're right. That's not Scotty Hastings, but our intro music is Scotty Hastings. So
yes.
And yeah, getting called out already. Your peeps are going to come after me strong. I'm telling you right now. Hey, Schaefer, like I said, we wanted to kind of get into your story, where you grew up, where you went to high school, your decision of going into the military, how that came about. And then we just want to go from there. We want to spread all the good things that you got going on.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. So I was born and raised. I think it was one of the last ones I listened to of y'all's podcast was Chuck Tyler, and he's from Virginia, Central Virginia, which is where I'm from. So that was kind of a small world moment when I heard that, and that's kind of cool. So I'm from an hour west of Richmond, kind of Chesterfield, Amelia, Powhatan area. And I went to high school at Cosby High School, left there, went to college for 3 years at ODU for civil engineering. And then I kind of dropped out my senior year and was like, I'm doing the Army. So I always wanted to join the Army. And my plan was to graduate college and then do it. And my brother-in-law, he's a Green Beret, and he's always like, man, you gotta do the Army, and just talking about the Army. So he was always in my ear, in the back of my head, and I wanted to do it. And I think it was my senior year, I fell on some rough times financially, and was like, why not right now? So yeah. I joined and went up to, I went to Missouri for my training. I was a 12 Bravo combat engineer, and then I went to airborne school in Georgia, and then up to Alaska with a unit up there, and stationed up there for four and a half years. So that was kind of the Army side of it. And then once I got out of the Army, while I was in Alaska, we deployed to Afghanistan. After that, I came back home. My wife's in the Air Force, and she was like, "We're moving." It's like, "All right, I'll follow," and started playing music, and it kind of started just snowballing from there. And
well, she's your publicist too, right? Isn't she? She's your cheerleader, your rah-rah, your rock, and every time I see something, like, she's just blasting, like, hey, we're gonna go do this. Like, okay, we're going.
Yeah, I just show up. She tells me where to be and when to be there, and what to wear. I
Dude,
show
I mean,
up.
hey, you do look good. I'll tell you, you do have the threads on. You're looking smooth. And I'll tell you what, I was going through some of your Facebook, but you are all over. You were all over. I was just going through, like, I didn't even really, I wanted to hit you. You went to Vet Fest, right, in Louisiana. Tell me a little bit about Vet Fest. Here we are. We're jumping all over again. So,
no, it's perfect. I like it.
I've seen a couple different artists that I've been trying to get a hold of with Vet Fest. So, tell me a little bit about how that went down.
Yeah, I think it was about 2 years ago. I moved to Louisiana, and I met a guy, Grant, who was at the VFW. He was like, "Hey, you look like a veteran." I was like, "I am," and so there's my wife talking right now. She's on it. So he was like, "Hey, you were in the Army?" I was like, "Yeah." And we started talking. He was like, "Why don't you come check out the VFW? Also, like, what's your goal in life?" I was like, "Oh, I make music." He was like, "Man, I'm starting this thing called Vet Fest, and we need some music this year." And it was the first year they did it. So I was the music the first year. We had a couple other local artists that year. I kind of stuck with them from there. So the following year got a lot bigger. It blew up.
Yeah.
I was able to do that again. And then this last year, my band was able to do it with me. The first 2 years was just solo. So it just keeps blowing up. But I've been with them since the start of it. I'm good friends with the guy who kind of founded the whole thing. So it works out, and it's a good cause. They raised money.
I love
last year I think they did I forgot how much they raised, but they raised a bunch of money it's in Dallas. I can't remember the name of the foundation now, but One Tribe. And so it used to be something else, but now it's One Tribe. And so we raised money for them. They're out of Dallas, I believe, so near you, Scott.
Yes.
And that was last year's. This year we raised some money, and it was kind of cold out this year, so people were out there freezing, doing their thing, but it was a big turnout, and they had Cody Hubbard headlining and finishing off the show, and it was a great time.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I was just looking through here. Yeah, Vet Fest 2020 was November 11th through the 13th at Bojack's. It's not B-O, it's BEAJ with another like a consonant, and then like I do love the Louisiana. Like, they got their own little grammar,
Anything with O, they got to spell it.
You got like four. Yeah, you have 4 letters for an O. And it's it's cool. I do want to go down one day. I want to make it down to Louisiana. I flew over it when we went to Florida, kind of caught the bottom edge there. But yeah, the East Bank District, the Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas. But yeah, no, I mean, it's Vet Fest is something that we've kind of thrown around. We've talked about it before in a couple of our podcasts about trying to put something together. And I know that, Bojack's 22 kill, I believe. Yeah. There's go ahead, Thatcher.
That's what it was called before. I was looking up the One Tribe Foundation, and that's what they called it before. 22 kill is now the One Tribe Foundation. So they rebranded to that.
Yeah.
That's all I got to add. Sorry.
Yeah, the One Tribe Foundation and the VFW Department of Louisiana.
Yes.
Yeah. You got anything to add over there, Mike? Poor guy. You were talking about your band. Let's get into that a little bit. Schaefer Mueller and the Neon Highway. You have Josh Bowen, Daniel Baskins, and Alex White. How did you guys kind of get together? You said that you went solo for Vet Fest a couple years. Were you with them? Were you guys a band at that point, or did you kind of just pick a couple guys up off the corner and form a band, and you guys sound good too, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sound damn good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I was lonely one night, and I was walking the street corners, and there was these guys with some pretty mouths, and no.
Hey, honey. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Oh God. You guys make some pretty sounds over there.
I like the way you sound. No. So I played solo. I started playing solo up in Alaska and moved down to Louisiana kind of during the whole COVID freak out thing, and I played solo where I could, but everything was closed down, so it was a lot of outdoor patio gigs, and they only wanted solos. So once everything started opening back up, I was like, hey, I'm looking for some people, I'm looking for some stuff, and the drummer actually, I reached out to him. I made a Facebook post once on my neighborhood page, and I was like, hey, any drummers in the neighborhood? I'm trying to jam. And this was a year before we ever actually met up, but he was like, I play drums. I was like, all right, well, let's do this. And he said, I'm a volleyball coach. I don't have time right now. And so fast forward a few, I like the kisses. Thanks. So fast forward a year after he had messaged me on Facebook, and we DM'd a few times. This kid, Alex White, he reached out to me and was like, hey, I play guitar. Do you need a guitarist? He was leaving school in East Texas. He went to East Texas Baptist University, and he was leaving school and moving back to Bossier, and he was like, I want to play music. And so I was like, we'll put something together. I got a guy I think plays drums, and I messaged a few of the guys that had DM'd me before. Daniel answered me, and we had a few guys come and play, but when Daniel got there, he crushed it. I mean, we sounded like we've been playing together for years. So it worked out. And funny story is Daniel's a high school teacher, and Alex is from Bossier, and ended up before he left for East Texas Baptist University, he actually went to the same school and knew him. He was like, "Oh, it's Mr. Baskin. What's up?" I was like, well, that's a small world. Yeah,
no way.
So
that's awesome.
That was funny. Yeah, and I thought it was gonna be a problem. I told the drummer, I was like, hey, if I need to fire this kid and get a new guitarist, let me know, because I don't know if it's gonna be weird. And he was like, no, it's not weird. Yeah, so it's been real cool. And then the bass player, he was the president of a motorcycle club.
I was just gonna say basses are like special. Like you have to treat them like so special, huh?
Yeah,
like
basses are their own personality, right?
Dude, I tell you, man.
That's no joke right there.
He's a cool dude, and he was the president of the Punishers, and I started prospecting for them as in the motorcycle club. And my buddy, one of my neighbors, I used to play guitar with a little bit before he had his kid, and things started slowing down for him. He was like, hey, let me introduce you to this guy. He plays bass, and I got another guy in the club that plays drums and whatnot. And so I met the drummer. He didn't have enough time to put into it, and that's when I started messaging other people. But Josh was like, yeah, I haven't played in a while, but I want to freaking play. And he's probably got the most drive out of everybody in the band. He's like, I want to do this thing. He's been wanting to do it for a while, and so he came in headstrong, like ready to go. So we practiced twice, I think, and we're like, dang, we already sound like we've been practicing for years. So we started reaching out to the places that I played solo, sent them some tapes and stuff, and they were like, all right, let's see what we got.
Isn't that cool how just things kind of mesh? Yeah, right. Hey, real quick, you brought up the motorcycle club. Now you said Punishers. It was Punishers the group, or what was the name of the club that you prospected for?
Punishers Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club. So it's the Punishers LEMC.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a worldwide club. So they you might have seen them here and there. They got some in California. I don't know what part of California you're in, but
so we're in the we're in Central Valley. So we're like an hour and a half south of the capital, east of San Francisco, west of the Sierras, and we're in the farm country. We vote red.
It doesn't matter though, because the rest of the state just washes you guys out. 11
million down south, and the 5 over here. No, they literally trump what we vote for. Thank you. Thank you.
Your vote really doesn't matter anymore.
Been setting that one up for a minute here. No, we had Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association. Yeah. They don't call themselves a club, they're an association, because clubs sound like you're a bunch of thugs. They're an association. We were asking because we had them on a couple episodes ago. So CVMA, but you were part of the LAMC. I find that a lot of veterans, like, that's their release, right? That little adrenaline kick. When you, man, there was so much there. I actually want to take a step back. Actually, there was man, I'm blanking, Mikey. You see, this is where you really reel me in. There's we actually have 2 videos, right? 3 videos, 2 videos. The one that really kind of sits with me was there's a music video that you had. I just reposted it actually. She was yelling. How
Security over there.
Yeah, no, I know. This is where Mikey kind of reels me in a little bit. There's well, we'll just jump to this part. Yeah, no, I know. I'm sorry. Mike kind of, like I said, Mike keeps it together when I'm bouncing around. Warrior Horse.
Yeah.
The end of around the middle of October-ish, you had a chance to team up with them. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a great organization, foundation, charity thing that goes on. I got a chance to meet. Actually, it was during the Vet Fest meetings. Warrior Horse was there. I think it was the second year we did Vet Fest, and we all sat down at dinner one night and kind of talked about all the different charities that were being involved in this thing and all the different aspects of Vet Fest. And I got to meet the guy that runs it, and he was telling me all about it, and he's so passionate about the whole thing. And so he's got, I forget how many horses. I think it's like 11 horses, but it's equine therapy a little bit, but specifically to veterans. He's starting to branch out to first responders, PTSD centric, and they kind of bring you in, and it's like a 2-day kind of ordeal where you come in and you stay there, and you talk, and then you go out and you learn how to handle these horses, and you go into a round pen with them, and you try to get them to connect with you. And so when a horse connects with you, it's like a special feeling.
It lets you get close to it, right?
Yeah, well, it'll come to you. It won't. So once it feels like it connects with you, it'll come up to you. So you work with it a little bit, and they'll have you turn around as kind of a part of it, and look away, and the horse will kind of walk up and then nudge you, like, to pet them. And sometimes they rest their head on your shoulder, and you'll see these veterans that have there was a couple guys there with me that were pretty messed up, and you just see them get this release, and it was just like everything just kind of dropped, and you got this huge animal that could, some of his horses are pretty big. This huge animal that could just, I mean, it could just stomp you. It's a big thing, and it just lets you, like, be its leader, and it shows you love, and it just kind of sends this release over you. So it's a great thing, great experience. I went through it after meeting him at this Vet Fest thing, and we talked a little bit, and he got up and spoke about it, what it was, and he started getting teary-eyed and choked up talking about it, just seeing he never served, but just seeing what it does for other people. It changed his life, and he kind of devoted his whole life to it now. So it's a great organization and a great thing to be a part of, and I'm glad I got to go experience it, and then also just get to talk about it, I guess.
Right.
He's a good dude, and the whole process is great, and I think that anybody in the area should go do it. They fly people down from anywhere in the US, really. They'll pay, and they got donors, and they'll bring people down that have PTSD and just are down, depressed, any of that kind of thing that's first responder or veteran based, and they'll fly them down, put them up in a hotel, and they just treat you with horses. So it's pretty cool.
Well, no, and that's the thing. You're right. It's the bonding process, and when you go into the military, you're branded, or you're the process to go into military is you're told not to show fear, the tough attitude. And then you go through battle, and you see what you see, dealing with stuff that us civilians, because like I said, I'm not a veteran, but but Mike and I do this show because of our parent, because of our dads, right? And this is basically our therapy. And for me, it's one of those things where I'm an emotional guy, right? So I mean, I show my emotion, and for you to explain to us, you know, that's how he connects with us and his feelings. Actually is the perfect segue into one of the videos that I want to show, and it's actually the song Never Let It Show, right? Because that's, I mean, we're told as little kids, stop crying, suck it up, you know, what do you know, and that's, I mean, that's one of the things that it's okay not to be okay, right? I mean, it's okay to show emotion. So you know, before we play it, I just wanted to get a little story. It's just a snippet, but you know, it's still, like I said, you know, this is your show, and we want to put out as much as we can about what you're doing. Can you share a little bit about Never Let It Show?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And so for that song, it kind of it's personal, and it kind of stemmed from a couple different things. So there was a lot of, I mean, you see a lot of guys take their lives that you didn't expect to. You think they're super happy, and that was kind of a starting point for me to want to write something about that.
Yeah.
And then I was in a pretty dark spot at that point in my life where I didn't have a sense of what I should be doing. I got out of the military and was just like, man, I don't know, felt kind of worthless and just didn't have a place that I felt like, what's the point? But I'd go out and party. I'll tell you how that if you saw me out in public, I was laughing, joking, stripping a lot of the time. Tequila makes my clothes fall off. So I look like the life of the party. I'll tell you.
I'll tell you what. I apologize for cutting you off, but there is one picture. I don't know if we have it, but he's got this gun, and dude is just ripped, right? I mean, I'm like, oh yeah. So as soon as he said stripper, I'm like, oh yeah, he's a stripper. Living it up, but really you were just covering it up, right? Like you were just covering up what you'd went through.
Yeah. So every time like my wife would go to work, and at this point I wasn't doing anything, so I'd sit at the house alone, and just me and my dog, and just sitting there like, man, I used to, at the time I had been playing music at this point, I think before I wrote it, like a year at a bunch of different bars, and I was like, I just want to write a new song, but I had no drive, no motivation, didn't want to play the guitar anymore. I was just down. And I was sitting there and I was like, man, like people think I'm the like happiest guy in the world or whatever when they see me out at the bars or when I'm playing on stage. It kind of reminded me of, I think this was when a couple celebrities had killed themselves, and people were like, man, they like look at all these, a bunch of Facebook posts going around, like, look, everybody's smiling, this is what depression looks like.
Yeah.
And that kind of, seeing those Facebook posts kind of sparked me. And so I was laying there I was literally laying on the floor when I wrote it. And I think I sat there for about 4 or 5 hours just staring at the ceiling fan, just watching it go around. Like, this was about a week of me doing this, just during the day while my wife was at work. I just sit on the ground and just stare at the ceiling fan, like, man, what am I doing? And I was laying there and I was like, man, I really want to try to write a song again. I was like, well, I'm laying on the floor. And so I started writing down the stuff I'm doing. I was like, well, I'm laying on the floor. I'm staring at the ceiling. At the time I wrote it, the ceiling fan. And then I was like, well, I'm empty. And so I wrote all that out, and I was like, well, maybe I got something there. So then I started
a good country song, boy.
Yeah. So I started going off of that, and it kind of, I pushed record on my phone on a little voice recorder, sat it down beside me on the floor, recorded the whole thing. And it was like an 8-minute voice recording, went back and deleted some things that were not very good, and then came out with that final product. So it wasn't hard to write. It was just me like, well, I'm going to tell the story that I'm in right now. And it kind of just worked out.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Real quick, I'm getting little notes here. So obviously, so you wrote the words before the music, right? Like you just said, he just said that you wrote the words before the music. Good job.
Okay. Most of my actually, I think all my songs, the words came first, because I kind of wanted to tell a story. And when I actually write a song, I sit down, I'm like, all right, let me just write out what's going on. and or what I want to say, and I look at it like I guess kind of like poetry. I want to write down a story and tell a story, and then I go back and fiddle around with a bunch of different chords. Like, well, what's going to work in this? What's the right thing for this? And so,
So let's play the song, and then I'm going to jump back because he just was out here in California a few weeks ago.
two or 3 weeks ago.
It was 3 weeks ago. I actually remember. I was like, oh,
Hey.
yeah. So let's play a little bit snippet from Never Let It Show.
Yeah.
I've been on the floor, staring at a ceiling. I've been here for hours. I'm empty, got no feeling. I've been on the floor, staring at a ceiling. I've been here before, fighting back my demons. They'll say he always looks so happy. You never would have known. They'll say he always looks so happy. He never let it show. Never let it show.
The voice, right? The smooth, like it's soothing. It's on iTunes. It's all over the place. Tell us where we can see it.
So that version, I originally recorded it. I think there's an acoustic version out right now, Spotify and iTunes.
Okay.
But I recorded that again, and that version right there was in San Francisco 3 weeks ago. I went there. There's a company called Operation Encore that
I was just gonna say, let's give them a shout out. I've talked to them a couple different times. Shout out
so they
Operation Encore.
Good people, and they set me up with A&R Audio out in San Francisco, and we recorded 3 songs, and that was one of them. So I got 2 songs coming out Saturday. And in that one, I haven't got the master yet, so we're waiting on that, and I'm hoping to get it out by the end of the year with the new version. And so we took a different approach on it, added some things. The producer and I kind of sat down and we're like, let's throw ideas up each other. And then Guy, who is the CEO for it, kind of was throwing out ideas, and we kind of just all sat and made it where you felt it, because that song it needed the right feeling. Which is a funny story with when recording that vocal, we tried it I think 5 times, and it just didn't have that. It almost sounded too happy, and so I was like, well, I wrote it laying on the ground, and so they were like, I was like, I heard an interview. I think it was Red Atkins, or he wrote some song for Dustin Lynch, and in the interview I heard about Dustin Lynch, they made him sit on the couch because it was too happy, and so they made him sit on the couch and sing it laying on the couch. And I was like, why don't we just try it? I'm gonna lay on the floor and sing it. So that's the audio we took. I was laying on the floor, just holding the mic and just singing it the way I felt it when I wrote it.
That's awesome.
I think it portrayed
that's really
the
cool.
sound a lot better. So
that's
hopefully that
awesome.
one's out. Yeah.
So real quick, shout out to Guy for Operation Encore. Yeah, I sent them, called him, talked to him a little bit. He actually had sent me your name and a name of like 3 or 4 different people, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I left it there, and then just saw that I think it was Shannon Book had actually followed you, and I'm like, oh wait, because I always like to go off of this, right? We're finding this niche for us. It was open, like our podcast used to be open. We first responders, dad talk and this, and then we streamlined it to veterans. And now I see this another layer that we've added is it's music, right? Not just music. We're not just focusing on musicians who happen to be veterans, right? And they're damn good musicians. But let's talk about that. November 26th, Saturday at 5:00, Schaefer Mueller and the new Neon. Gosh damn, I knew it. The Neon Highway. They're going to be at the State Line Shine at Hurricane Alley. We can talk about that in a minute, because y'all name shit, the damn hurricanes, and with Josh Bowen, Daniel Baskin, Alex White, and that's the Neon Highway, releasing the new video or the new song, the revised version, right, through Operation Encore. Like, no, that's dope. I'm getting, it's so Mike said it soothes the soul.
Thank you. Yeah, we were messing with it right in the studio, and it was kind of funny because the producer, he was like, this isn't like your other songs, the other country songs, and the last two I recorded before that through Operation Encore were pretty heavy rocky country, and he was like, this isn't like those. This is more pop. He's like, this is like, I think we're gonna call it emo country. I was like, yeah, I can dig it.
Whatever
emo
you
country,
Californians
I
want to
dig
talk
it.
about it. I like California emo country. I think it's badass. It's got a good vibe. It's good, easy listening. I can understand the words.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
We have one more song. We're gonna do. I believe it. You gave it to me, Mike. I'm sorry. You gave it to me. One Last Rodeo, right?
Yeah.
That's I haven't listened to it yet. I've heard that. I heard the one that we just played. I heard that one. I heard I heard Never Let It Show. That was kind of what I stumbled across. But tell us a little bit about Last Rodeo.
So this
One Last
Rodeo. It's all right. So there was a time when I was trying to write, like, I don't know, some fun upbeat party songs that would make it to radio, right? And I was like, man, this is what they want. This is the cookie cutter style. Let's try to put it in there and mash it. And this is actually another one that came out really quickly. I was sitting on the couch one day, and I got a good friend, Joel, that he does rodeo. He's a team roper, and we were out, I think it was the week before, watching his son, he's 6 years old, doing his little youth rodeo. And I was like, man, I want to write a song that has meaning and something about rodeo for that whole thing. Cause I was going out there and I played in the parking lot and stuff. And I was like, I need to write a song that's about rodeos, And so I was sitting there on the couch and I was like, well, I want to make it something with meaning. And kind of the first thought that came to my head was the line, One Last Rodeo. People say it's not their first rodeo or whatever. And I was like, well, a last rodeo, I pictured a guy with that one line that came to my head. I was picturing a guy like sitting on his deathbed and his family around. And I was like, I want to write a song where you can paint that picture, where there's a guy with his family around and it's his last hurrah, and he wants to go out on a high note. And so I wrote down a story. This time I didn't write down the words in order exactly how I did for most of my other songs, where I just wrote a story. I wrote down the story I wanted to tell. And then I went back and tried to make it into a song. So I wrote down a story about a guy that's terminally ill and about to pass, and he wants to have one last good night with his family and remember the good things and have his family remember him in a good way. And then I kind of put it into a song. So that's how that song came about. It was the story is what I wanted to tell, and I just wanted it to have that line, One Last Rodeo, kind of like a, this ain't my first rodeo, this ain't my second rodeo.
Yeah.
I want one last one. So the song sounds like a rodeo country song, but it's if you listen to the words, it's more about a guy's last days with his family. So.
Last time I listened to a song with the words, I started crying. I'm just letting you know. I'm just like, real quick before we play the song, I figured out who Scott is. Scott's the TJ.
Huh?
Scott is the TJ of the show. Man, a few words.
Well,
Let's go ahead and play One Last
Rodeo. You jackal.
Schaefer Mueller and the Neon Highway.
Give me one more ride, one more time in the suit, one last goodbye, one final salute. Give me one last dance, one last ride around the pen, one last staying up all night, laughing and crying. Just let me say goodbye before you call me home, before I head down that road. Give me one last rodeo, and give me one last rodeo.
by the drummer. You gotta stay hydrated, bro. Banging on the drums. You gotta stay hydrated, right?
Dude,
No,
he likes to have fun with it, I tell you.
I would be impressed if he could do the drum. What are they called? The sticks. Toss them, drink a beer, grab the sticks, keep playing. That'd be pretty dope. Maybe get there.
I think he might be able to, because he does that sometimes, and he drinks throughout the gig. So I feel like he could definitely throw it up, take a drink.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I mean,
going.
Just get him a beer helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. I think I got one.
Dude, if we ever see a video so real quick, because I do have them down here. So Daniel Baskins, I would say would be bass.
He's the drummer.
Oh, Mikey's got it. Mikey's the drummers or drummer. Bowen.
That's the bass.
Bowen's bass. And then Alex White is
the lead guitar, yeah.
And there's always something about whenever they're all playing with they got this look on their face and they're all messing with the ear, and they got that. It's like the staple, right? It's like the staple.
Yeah. The old in-ear trick.
Yeah, right. Like, oh man, I think I'm so cool. No, hey, I think it's awesome. I appreciate you letting me joke around a little bit too.
Yeah.
But no, it seems like things are going good, right? You have a good foundation. You obviously have your family life is good. What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna take a break. We have to pay some bills. We have our sponsor. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hear from Tamara, and we'll actually hear from Mike via Tamara. So we'll be right back, guys. Thanks.
Now for our sponsor, Tamara Polito with the Finance Group, where they're creating a future where everyone has access to the loan and home they love. Whether you're a veteran, law enforcement, a first-time home buyer, you're up or downsizing, or even if you need to just refinance, our community deserves proficiency and expertise. Better rates, faster close, welcome home. Tamara Polito, NMLS 1655776. Again, that's Tamara Polito, and her phone number is 209-204-3795.
Thank you, Tamara Polito. Mike does such a good job. I love it.
That's good.
MLS. So I want to get to a point here. I'm really sucky at doing two things at once, but I'm going to try. You have anything, Scott? Did you want to ask? Do you have any questions?
I think everything that Schaefer's doing is fantastic for the veterans and everything. So I didn't talk much because I didn't want to talk over either of you two guys talking. So you don't need to tell me that I'm quiet, you little butthead.
Okay. So nice.
So, but I will say this: Louisiana is one of my favorite states to eat food in. So.
Oh yeah, I forget. Scott, he gets to go there for his job. Their DC covers into Louisiana.
Yes.
We
covered Houston, Austin, DFW, of course, Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and some other areas down there.
The Baton Rouge.
So.
Schaefer, what's your goal in life?
Well, to keep living, I guess. But
yeah.
It's every day at a time. I got a daughter.
You really take that. You really take that one day at a time. You really do that. You live every life.
Yeah, I got. I'm pretty busy and I'm pretty running myself dry. So I've got a lot of things going on. So I write it down on my calendar and I don't look at that until the next day when I need to. So I've been working at the LSU Med School doing a study for NASA with some rats, and that's taking a lot of my time. And
whoa.
They're mice.
Hold on. You might kind of go. I'm studying at LSU medical.
Yeah, well, I'm doing a study for them, so I'm not in the school. I'm an employee. I'm a staff member, and we're taking tissues from some mice after injecting them with or exposing them to radiation, gamma radiation from space, and we're taking the DNA out of those tissues and kind of seeing what the changes in the DNA are to kind of look at the core temperature changes and the hypothalamus reaction to gamma radiation. So it's tiring. I'm not gonna lie. So, but I do that. Yeah.
I'm like, Doug, you're like, oh, that's it. I mean, we're just, basically taking some
Look,
lab
I'm
rat
I'm a
Project
du- I'm a-
X shit, bro.
I'm a dumb truck driver, and the minute you said gamma radiation,
yeah.
I immediately thought of the Hulk.
DNA. I took out the
Yeah.
DNA.
Hey, I mean,
Wow.
we're making Hulk rat
Dude.
mice, I guess.
Right, so
That
that's exactly where my mind went, was to Hulk, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
wait.
And I went like
was it-
not Dr. Doolittle, but what was the other one where he was the does PETA know you're doing that? Yeah.
I got some videos that y'all probably don't want to see, but we do it ethically. I had to take a couple ethic things on it, but we do have to take the tissues while the mice are still living. So we put them under anesthesia, and then we slice them open and take the tissues out, and then sacrifice them.
You do it as humane as possible.
No pain. They're asleep.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I do that. I do that Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays usually, and then I'm also the guy that got me into that. His name's Corey Kuhorn. He's a Canadian guy that was my professor at LSU Shreveport, and he's doing a study. He's a big heat scientist guy, and so he's actually doing a study on firefighters to see how heat stress affects cognitive ability. So Tuesdays and Thursdays usually I'm doing a heat study, and we get people in full PPE, firefighters walking on a treadmill until their core temperature hits 39 degrees Celsius, which is pretty hot. That's borderline. And then we test their brain waves and kind of see how their cognitive ability is post test.
Dude, we could have had a whole show on this.
This is. I'm sorry. This came out of left field. I'm not. I apologize for not doing my due diligence and
There's no way to
investigating
know.
you.
I don't talk about it.
Yeah,
Really.
Holy.
Okay, so let me. I have to scroll because Mikey's been sitting. He's like, yeah, go. Yeah, we'll get to what's next for the group thing later because I mean, we got DNA and lab rats. And,
firefighters and
yeah,
core
says,
body
that's
temp.
not civil engineering. As first, that's what Mike goes. That's not civil engineering.
Yeah, I dropped out of civil engineering.
yeah, he dropped out of that to get into lab rats and taking DNA from live rats humanely to see how the gamma rays affected them.
Humanely.
So
Humanely.
So 39 degrees Celsius, that translates to roughly what?
I think about 105 degrees Fahrenheit.
I was gonna say 104, but okay, yeah.
Yeah, it might be 104.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
Google. I don't know.
It's not on his LinkedIn. It's not on his link tree.
Yeah, that is not on my link tree. That has nothing to do with music.
Wow.
So that's like ethically, that's the highest we can get their core temperature because their body still rises another degree or so, and 42 degrees Celsius is where organ failure sets in.
Okay.
So we can't get them there. So at 39 degrees, I think the ethical value is 39.5 is where we can take them. But we learned after the first few studies that people kept rising afterwards. And Corey did the test himself, and he got up to like 40, almost 41, I think. And we were like, well, we need to pull people off at 39 then, because that's where
ethics, right?
Hospitals. Yeah.
Well, you don't want to. I mean, you don't want to put a firefighter in freaking the hospital just because you're trying to do studies.
Yeah.
So, what degree do you have now?
I am degreeless. I've been in school for 10 years, and
keep going. The government's paying for it, right?
Hey, we're speaking to the modern day Van Wilder right now.
Yeah, that's I like to use that as a. Nobody knows what I'm talking about now. 100%,
100%.
No, Thatcher's a nerd too, like that. Yeah, he's like you, monkey.
All the people in my class are younger than. I mean, they're all born in 2000. I'm like, they're like, are you a senior yet? I'm like, I'm Van Wilder senior. And they're like, I don't get it. I'm like, yeah.
Perfect.
So
YouTube it, bro.
Perfect.
YouTube. Go down to Blockbuster, rent.
Yeah. So I dropped out of civil engineering my senior year. I had 30 credits left, and then joined the Army. And then after the Army, I went back for. I wanted to go in the FBI, so I went accounting because I'm all over the place, man.
That is awesome.
So I went to school for accounting for a year, and then I was like, man, It's boring.
Okay, so you went to
uh,
school. Hold on, you went to school for accounting to be in the FBI.
yeah, so I know a couple people that are in the FBI, and they said that the number one thing they want is accounting degrees and law degrees. Those are the two
Mm.
best ways to get your application
Yeah.
through.
Okay.
So
Forensic
I was like,
accounting.
yeah, and I was like, all right, I guess that blue collar stuff. I mean, that white collar stuff, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, I'll do that. That shit was boring. So I left after a year. I think I was in my senior year of that as well when I dropped out. And then I did about a semester and a half of Arkansas. Hey, Lisa. So I did a semester and a half of marketing because I was personal training when I first got out. So I own a personal training business.
Well, yeah,
and I own a
remember
gym,
because he
and-
was a stripper.
Right.
Yeah, you got to learn how to do it. So I still train clients in the mornings and the evenings after the lab. So before I go to the lab and after the lab, I train clients. So
Great.
I still do that. Yeah, I told you I'm tired. But so nonetheless, I wanted to get the personal training thing blowing up. So I started taking marketing classes, and I think I dropped out my senior year of marketing, and I was like, not for me. And then I decided to go public health. So I graduate finally. I think I have like 200 college credits, and you need like 120 to graduate, maybe.
You're
I
gonna
think I
mail him like
graduate-
4 different degrees, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah,
he's
you
gonna
got this, what the hell? Give him that too.
yeah.
Yeah, like Mike said, he goes, I'm tired listening.
yeah, yeah,
Hustle
I
never-
know.
That's
So
awesome.
so I keep dropping out my senior year, I guess, is my MO. So I get bored with it, and but this time I'm not dropping out. I got like 5 classes left, and I'll graduate with a public health degree. And then my plan was to go to med school, so I started working with the med school, and I've got some opportunities because I had straight A's the past couple of semesters, so I was given a lot of opportunities to go to like San Diego on some medical conference trips and sports medicine stuff, and got to work at I got the job at the med school doing this study because I guess I knew my stuff, and they recommended me, and I just keep getting on these things that they recommend me. So I'm just doing what I can when I can do it. And I mean, in about a year, I'll probably just be chilling, writing music. So
Yeah,
I might as well get it all in now.
Degrees up in the wall.
Yeah.
Hell.
Hey, he's like the higher educated version of me.
I don't have any degree.
Did you not hear
so.
he said he was a stripper? Did
No,
you
no.
not hear that part?
Look. We can't be perfect. We can't be
I mean-
perfect.
Look,
I
ask any
know-
stripper.
I know a lot of random stuff.
No, just go with it. You're a stripper.
You ask any stripper, and they're paying for their med degree. You know.
There you
so.
go.
Yeah. So what did you go for? Oh, the government paid for my.
Look, he's technically working his way through med school.
Yeah,
Technically.
those dollars will stack up. Real quick, Saturday, November 26th at 5:00. Schaefer Mueller and the Neon Highway with BJ Jones and the Starlight Shine. Bossier City. Bossier
yeah.
City, Louisiana. Got your link tree. We got that there. You have 1 single or 2 singles
There's
coming
5,
up.
Outright.
There's 5 on Spotify.
Coming up. Yeah, Spotify. The new revised version. I'm trying to.
Oh, dang.
Oh.
She coming in. Coming in hot.
I don't know if you're supposed to have. Oh, man. No pictures, no video. Shit, girl, keep it. They come in handy with it. So on that note, did you not get invited to the CMAs also? Is that what is that?
Yeah, that was a joke. We went to the CMAs, and I'm sure you got me. We went to the CMAs. We had a friend that was going, and she had extra tickets, and so she invited us. And my wife put out a post saying we were invited to the CMAs, and we went there and watched it. But I will say that on One Last Rodeo, that song that y'all just heard, the fiddle player for that actually won a CMA. So that was pretty cool. So she got Musician of the Year, and that was really cool to see. So she's been on a lot of songs and a lot of singles. So she won, and that was cool to say. Well, I got a CMA artist on my record, so you know.
Yeah, that's again like we use our podcast or our show here.
A little
Still
clout.
podcast. Well, it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's the connections, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be texting your wife. Well, I'm going to be emailing your wife because we are very male heavy on our shows. We've had a couple women on, Marshall. I knew I was going to Rachel Marchbanks, Livia, a couple women that we've had on. So we have a couple that are, oh yeah, we'd love to be on the confirmation, you know, the dates and stuff like that. Just haven't worked out yet, but I would love to be able to, the backbone, right? What keeps
Yeah.
you humble.
She does it
She's
all.
got video too, bro. It's got video.
Yeah. It was the only time I actually stripped was a charity event, and it was to raise money. And I think we raised $8,000 that night. So I feel pretty, I
Nice.
didn't get to keep any of it, but I wish I did.
Damn.
So
That's a couple house payments.
Right.
yeah, if it didn't go to some charity, charity.
Yeah.
No, I was kidding. So yeah, but no, she's the reason. I mean, if it wasn't for her, I'd probably just be playing in a bar in Alaska right now and be happy doing it, because I just was happy that somebody was paying me to listen, you know, and that was cool to me. And anytime, I mean, I'm the worst advocate of myself when it comes to music, and I think there's a lot of things that could change in my music to make it better, and a lot of things that I do wrong. And when I play at a bar, I'm just like, well, pay me whatever you want. I'm happy to play. And so she kind of took over and was like, all right, I'm setting the price. I'm gonna call places. I'm gonna send them your stuff, and we're gonna make this thing legit. And just tell me where to go.
Yeah. Well, we have our information. You know, Mike and I and our sponsor Tamara, we've talked and we want to do a benefit concert. You know, we have American Veterans First here in Riverbank, a nonprofit. They do they have a museum that they've had a bunch of stuff donated to the museum, and just we want to get you guys out here, you and Shannon Book and Scotty Hastings.
Yeah,
there's just so much music, and there's so many stories that you guys have to tell, you know. And you know, for me, it's just listening. Just listen to the words, right? I mean, that's kind of like how you get to decompress. So Tom tomorrow. Mikey's been texting. I got like 97. Oh yeah. Tom Ettinger. Yeah, and sorry, Tom. Apologize. Again.
And Tom. Yeah.
And Tom. Well, actually, there's a cool thing that we're working with Tom on, and it's going to be. I think a lot of veterans should have what we're working on. And I don't want to put it out there, but it's pretty cool. So real quick, I have a couple of questions that we ask. We always ask, you know, the drink of the day doesn't have to be an alcoholic beverage. It's whatever you're drinking when
I wake up.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, if that's what you need, hey,
homie had two different ones.
Well, I
didn't know if y'all noticed that.
No. Yeah, Scotty's pretty eagle eye on that stuff. He can pay attention. But when you and Catherine are chilling, relaxing. You know, what do you guys?
We both drink bourbon or whiskey, so that's what I started the show with, and then I asked them for more, and
Mikey got it.
I'm at a friend's house in their office right now, and they're outside by a fire. So I texted them and said, "Can you bring me another drink?" And they brought me a beer. So I was a little disappointed in that, Sam.
Hey, listen, we're gonna wrap this up, bro. Go chill, relax, go have a good time.
It looked like is that a Dallas Blonde?
So I was drinking Basil Hayden's, which is my go-to, and then I got to bring the California into it, the hipster side, and bring an IPA. So
all right,
Voodoo Ranger IPA.
Bring that back up. What is that crap?
Voodoo Ranger.
Oh, like I said, it's cool.
Look.
I like whiskey.
That gentleman up there is a beer snob and a half. I am a cheaper the better. I'm good to go.
Hey!
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, dude, that's beautiful. So that's twice that we've had intruders, right? Chief Thompson. So we had Chief Thompson of the North Platte Fire Department in Iowa.
Noise.
What? Iowa. Nebraska.
I was gonna say the Platte is in Nebraska.
The Platte, Nebraska. His firefighters brought him in cookies because he was sitting at his desk. They come running in. We got some cookies for you. So we've had cookies and whiskey. That's awesome.
That's bad.
No, that's that is so cool, man. That's dope. You can.
Yeah, my mouth was getting dry, so I'm glad they are listening.
Appreciate that.
Beautiful.
He did. So that guy that just brought me the Jack Daniels texted me and said, "Talk about burning poop and jumping into 4 feet of snow," and that was about out. He said, "Be less boring." So,
well,
I guess I should say on this, I burned some poop when I was in Afghanistan. He wanted me to say that, which is a lot of shit. I burned a lot of shit.
Oh boy. Okay, hold on.
Isn't that what a civil engineer
Follow
does?
up with
in
burning
Afghanistan?
shit.
I was not a civil engineer in the Army.
No. Oh, okay. I apologize. I take that back.
No. Yeah.
So you got-
Come on now. No.
We got,
No.
we got
What?
we have a video to play.
Uh-oh.
No, not that video. No, we do
So
have
we
one
got
more.
the stripping.
Look,
It was a
you
gay
saying we
bar.
have you saying we have a video to play. This could go in a lot of different directions right now.
It's 4.5 minutes long. We have a
Oh, shit, that's
video.
long. You don't
Yeah.
play the whole thing. That's long.
Well, I'm just going by what our producer's telling me. Okay. So what we're gonna do here, you're embedded. Oh, you're when you're in Afghanistan when you had the reporters with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So when I deployed, I deployed with 1501 infantry parachute regiment, and we were supporting 2 different special forces units over there. So there was a 12-guy team, and then I think there was like 18 to 20 of us. I don't remember. But we were out there at these OPs pushing back towards Pakistan, and there was 2 different reporters that came. One was with the New York Times, and he wrote an article about it, and then the other one was with Black Rifle, and he came up and made a video. And I've been looking for the video since I left Afghanistan, and I finally found it this week. So I was pretty excited about that. But yeah, that was he was there with us. So I guess this footage is from what we were doing. So
yeah, I have 7 emails to Black Rifle Coffee trying to get somebody on. I have 7 emails. I have 21 emails to Lieutenant Dan. That's not gonna happen.
Gary
So speaking of that, real quick, my wife was listening to the Scotty Hastings one that y'all did, and he was talking about being in DC and not being able to meet Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
And my wife has a picture with him that moment that he was in DC. She was stationed in DC that same time. So she went to go meet him while Scotty was in the hospital, I guess. But she was listening to the podcast.
No
she was
way.
Like, same time. Yeah, she was stationed in
Dude,
Andrews.
can we get a copy of that?
Yeah, probably. She's listening right now, so she can go find it.
Oh wait, Contagion Effect Show. CONTAGION effect show.com.
Googling y'all, I had to read it like 3 times. I don't know how to spell that.
So it's 3 words in one. Contage on. I had to do it myself. I spelled it wrong. Contagion. Stupid.
That's how my head does it. Yeah, I couldn't do it all as one. I had to split it up.
Yeah, I did. Hey, the first couple times I couldn't say it correctly. Yeah, so we're gonna play a little bit of the video, which is cut down from 20 minutes. So this was the best 4.5 minutes that Mike could find put together.
Yeah, it's pretty boring at places. I'm not gonna lie. I watched it
yesterday. For us civilians, though, man, there's some intense stuff right there. So grab some popcorn.
Oh, so because it's supposed to be the blippets are supposed to be on the one with the packs.
And safety arm, and then pull the trigger. It'll kick out all the rounds, all the live rounds, and the links.
All right, so that direction is south. That's the Momin Valley. If you can see the white mountains, those are the spin gars. On the backside of that is Pakistan. This like little high ground right here, we call that PT Hill. On the backside of that is Peha Valley, and from Peha Valley it'll open to Bagdara Valley, and further east is the Bandar Valley.
They're getting ready to drop a 500-pound bomb just outside of the camp here in an attempt to perform terrain denial for any fighters that may be coming up on the ridgeline. So we're going to check that out right now.
Game plan.
We're on mountain patrol. We're on the side of a mountain where the ODA hasn't been yet.
We tell him to come up each week because he basically maintains security at the mouth of that valley that he's at, and he's not afraid to fight ISIS. So that in itself is a reason that we feel like it's valuable to maintain a relationship with him.
Found the potential IED, and now the guys are figuring out what to do. Pretty much there were some guys coming up on the road. They think they buried something right on the road that leads into the OP.
We found one of the dig sites, or we found two of the dig sites. We weren't able to confirm if there was anything actually buried. We got a grid of the area, and then we'll go back with NMRG and make sure to clear that and make sure there's nothing in there. That's the issue.
We're gonna come back up and clear this valley, so it's kind of like a little practice run to see ground truth on how we can formulate our plan.
Every single time they've came to it, this is an ISIS stronghold.
Yeah, gun. Check it right now. Hey, he said fucking send it.
Dropped a 500-pounder, a 250-pounder, put suppressive fire down, and we've got Afghans in contact. And the ALP had a KIA and some wounded in action, so we were going to evac down on top of back off of the ridge. And just as we were getting ready to push back out, it looks like they hit a couple more IEDs, so it's a real mess down there. Now we're stopped in a security halt again, trying to figure out what's going on.
It doesn't matter how long the war's been fought, what the politicians say, or any of the other issues that seem to dominate headlines in place of caring about the war these soldiers are fighting. They are the men on the ground, and they worry about one thing: taming the Momand Valley.
Intense, man. Every time I hear it, I've watched, that's probably like the third time or fourth time I've watched it, and just the sounds, right, echoing through I mean, it's just, wow.
Yeah. Fun fact, I read that the Taliban has taken over, that was OP Blackfish and OP Butler, and the Taliban has taken over those now that we're out of there. So they own those OPs now. So that's fun fact.
Yeah, no, that's sad. I mean, that's, you go in there and try to suppress and do the right thing, right? Help people. One last question I have before I let you go. Why don't you go enjoy your family time, and appreciate you coming on and joining us on the Contagion Effect. The programs that you guys have available, are you taking advantage of those? It's a question that I ask because there's a lot of programs, and there's people that are like, oh, I'm fine, I'm this, I'm not wounded, I'm not. there's programs that are there for you, right? You sign that line, or you sign on that dotted line, and they're there for you. So you're taking advantage of everything that's given to you.
I know about everything that's given to me, and I probably would say I'm not. I've recently I've been better about going and using some of the resources. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't one of those guys that got hurt on deployment. So I mean, I don't know if a lot of them are made for me, but I'm starting to open up a bit and utilize them. So yeah.
So I appreciate what you are going through. This does say California, but it is still a veterans resource book.
Yeah.
Every single page that I turn to has something that is
it up on you.
For you guys. I know that was a little shot. I get it. So please, just take advantage of what you have, because it's there for you to help you stay better and get better, and thank you for your service. I mean, that's what they're there for. Scott Thatcher, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you
Schaefer
for having
Mueller,
me.
thank you. I appreciate you so much. It's my honor. Glad you came on with us. Happy Thanksgiving.
You should talk more, Scott.
All right. I'm usually not one for lack of words, but
literally, I'm going through my list. Mike's like, "Hey, bro, you need to get coached," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, perfect. Yeah, this guy talks all the time." And ta-da!
It's all good. To be fair, you two were having dialogue, and so I didn't want to step over y'all.
That's all right. It's all good. Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate you joining us. Schaefer, thank you again. If there's anything we can do, let us know. Again, keep us abreast of what you got going on.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. I hopefully, if y'all get to see them, hopefully they come out on Friday. I had some album artwork issues, but I got 2 of those Rocky singles coming out on I guess it's Saturday at midnight. So be on the lookout for that. But hopefully they get released. I misspelled some things in the album artwork, so I had to redo it. And
hold on to those. They'll be collector's items, right?
Misprints.
Yeah, misspelled album. Yeah.
You make it big.
Yeah.
Hopefully not your name. You put the E before the A and leave out.
I misspell my name all the time. It's a hard name. It's a lot of letters.
That's awesome. Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it so much. Again, let us know. We'll be reposting and all that stuff. But appreciate it. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We made it. I know. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And this is why I don't have a one-man podcast. Couldn't do it. Yes, I could talk all day long to random people on the streets. But for Eric Mello and Mike Ellick, happy Thanksgiving. Deuces.